What's good everyone? Today I have another move tier list for you guys. This time I'll be ranking every character's up smash in Smash Ultimate. Note that for this tier list, all the Echo Fighters are in the same place as the character they're echoing. Let's get into it. I'll be starting with D tier, but I want to mention that most of the up smashes in this tier aren't even that bad, they're just lackluster in comparison to the other moves. I felt like Duck Hunt's up smash deserved to be in the lowest tier because it doesn't do a great job at covering the area around him. It hits in front of him, then behind him, and then above him, instead of just going in an arc around him like most up smashes do. So they have to be in a certain position for you to get all 3 hits of the up smash, and even when you get the maximum damage, it's not even that powerful. It's kind of janky as well. I find in certain situations that people will fall out of the move, and it's just not really the best option for him usually. Jigglypuff's is pretty much equally powerful, does a decent amount of damage and knockback, but nothing really special. However, it is pretty slow, and doesn't have much range, since all she's doing is moving her head. It doesn't expand or anything like other up smashes do, so the opponent has to be like right next to her for her to land this. And even so, they have plenty of time to react. Ryu's and Ken's are slightly more powerful, and they come out a little bit faster. However, the move is pretty much useless in comparison to the rest of their moveset. It can't be incorporated into their combos, and there's really not much of a reason to use it when you have 2 and 3 frame kill confirms into Shoryuken, which kills earlier than up smash anyways. Mii Sword Fighters is probably the worst in the game. It has 3 hits, but the second hit is so small that it almost never connects. It's slow, it's not powerful, and it really just does not excel at anything. It sucks. Moving on. Diddy Kong's is decently fast, and there's some setups into it, and it's also a decent out of shield option. However, it's one of the weakest up smashes in the game, so it doesn't really do much anyways. Meta Knight's looks decent on the surface, however, it does a very small amount of damage. Again, a similar case to Diddy Kong's, where you just don't get much out of landing the move. You make the same commitment as most other up smashes do, but you don't get as much out of it is the problem with these. Zelda's does a pretty decent amount of damage and does a good job covering the area above her. However, it usually fails to hit someone that's on the ground unless they're right next to her. Sheik has a similar situation where the opponent has to be directly above her for the move to reach its maximum potential, and this can be pretty difficult to set up. I believe the only confirm into it is tip or down tilt, and it's not often that you can land one of those. However, at least it does hit people on the ground, but that hitbox comes out later than the one above her. Same thing for Corrin essentially, except all the hitboxes come out at the same time. It's pretty rare that you can line someone up to get the tipper hitbox, except if like, maybe you're reading a jump from the ledge, and it's not even that rewarding anyways. Donkey Kong's is decently powerful if you hit the move. However, there's no way to set up into it at all. Not even like cargo up throw or anything. Same thing with the others, you have to line up the opponent to be directly above you, and that's not usually a place where the opponent will be. Lucario's is slow, and you don't get as much bang out of your buck. Even if you have a bunch of aura, it takes till like 100% for him to be able to kill like a normal up smash would. Sonic's also comes out pretty slow, and is relatively weak. But to be honest, if they gave Sonic a fast running up smash, then that would be pretty broken anyways. So it's understandable why this is bad. Villagers does a horrible amount of damage. However, it does have multiple hitboxes, which means it's more difficult to air dodge through it, and occasionally it can combo into like an up air or something. Isabelle's is another case where you just don't get as much out of landing the move as you do with other smash attacks. Only like 16 or something damage. The vertical range might look good, but that's only compared to Isabelle's really small hurt box. Moving on to C tier, I'm gonna put Bowser Jr. here. It comes out relatively quick and has multiple hitboxes, so again, it's pretty hard to like dodge through this. You just kind of have to stay out of the way, and if he whiffs the move, you can easily punish him for it. Does a decent amount of damage, just kind of mediocre but not bad. Kirby's and Mii Brawler's look the same, but Kirby's is slightly stronger and slower, while Brawler's is a little bit weaker but faster. They're both flip kick up smashes that work okay, and pretty much do their job, but they're outshined by Fox's up smash, which does the same thing but a lot better. We'll talk more about Fox's later since it's in a different tier. Mega Man's is kinda like Bowser Jr.'s. It can hit people on the ground pretty well, it has multiple hitboxes, and it's kind of weak but not really. It's good for killing people who are in the air, because on the ground, up tilt is almost always a better kill option. Wii Fit Trainers actually has a little bit of invincibility on it. She has full body invincibility for like a frame or two. Kind of interesting, but besides that, the hitbox is narrow but pretty rewarding if you do land it. Shulk's comes out pretty fast, and there's a lot you can do with it if you use Monado arts. However, if you whiff the move, you're pretty much screwed. Incineroars is pretty much the baseline up smash. One of the better ones in C tier in that it covers a decent area and does a decent amount of damage and knockback. Comes out as fast as I would expect a smash attack to, and it doesn't have too much end lag, just kind of decent overall. Young Link's is pretty good in every aspect except that it's extremely weak. I know this because I main the character, but when I up smash someone at 130, I want it to kill. However, it does decent damage and can work pretty well with his projectiles. It covers the area around him well, and multiple hitboxes make it harder to avoid. I think King K rules is very situational, because it has a very fast hitbox directly above him, and there is a hitbox on the ground after that. However, there's usually better options. You can do some stuff with it after using down throw, but aside from that, there's usually better options. Pac-Man's up smash is kind of slow, but the hitbox lingers for a longer time than most up smashes do. It's decently strong, he can use it with some of his hydrant setups. Nothing crazy, but definitely not bad either. Piranha Plant is kind of slow, but it has very good vertical range. It has a large hitbox, but it takes a while to come out. Let's talk about Samus, Dark Samus, and Mii Gunner. They look like the same move, but they actually have pretty significant differences. Samus's has the most vertical range, because she's the tallest. Dark Samus's has an easier time hitting people on the ground, since she's smaller than Samus. Mii Gunner's has a larger hitbox, but it doesn't do as good of a job hitting people in the air. I see potential in all three of these. If someone wants to like short hop towards you, and you want to just stop them immediately, you can just go boom, up smash. But they do have to be in that specific area for the move to be effective. People say that it's easy for people to fall out of these up smashes, but it's just a myth in my opinion. Moving on up to B tier, I'll start with Bayonetta. It might seem to be lackluster in every aspect, that it's kind of slow and not that strong. However, it has immense vertical range and covers a decent horizontal area around her too. It's not useful at all for hitting people behind her. I find that in general, this character seems to struggle with cross-ups. Falco's is also a flip kick, but it hits twice. It does slightly more damage than Fox's, but isn't quite as powerful. He also can't use it as much because he lacks fast ground movement. I think all three of the Pokemon in Pokemon Trainer have B tier up smashes. Squirtle's covers a very good area around him. In front of him, behind him, all the way above him. He covers it all at once and does pretty good damage. Ivysaur's is slower, but it has a huge hitbox around him. It's very rewarding if someone likes to get in your face and you think they're just gonna run towards you. You can just let this loose, and chances are they're gonna run straight into it. Charizard's is actually slightly faster. Very good overall for catching people on the ground and in the air. However, if someone's on the ground and they shield the first hit of his up smash, they can hit him pretty hard after that. The Ice Climber's up smash does pretty good damage as well. It also covers the area around them pretty well, and it kills as early as I would expect it to. I've noticed that Joker's is very good for hitting people on platforms, because it has good vertical and horizontal range, even though it doesn't hit people behind him. And if he has Arsene, this move becomes insane. However, without Arsene, it is relatively weak. I think Roy's, Crom's, Marth's, and Lucina's up smashes are all the same. They all do like 20-ish damage, except for Marth's, who does slightly less damage unless you get the tipper. However, if you do get that tipper hitbox, the opponent will go flying. Peach's up smash is basically a better version of Corrin's. There's a ground hitbox, an almost tipper hitbox, and a tipper hitbox. Either way, the move is pretty rewarding to land, and having tricky movement makes it easier to set up into this move. Pichu's is alright, it's pretty fast, does a decent amount of damage and knockback, however it doesn't cover a great area because Pichu himself is kind of small. Pit's is very fast and clean. It's pretty good for juggling and pressuring people who are above him. Simon and Richter's up smashes by themselves are not too effective, since they're pretty slow and it's rare that the opponent will just be directly above you. However, what you can do with these is set up into it using a side special. When it comes back, you can charge this baby up, and if the opponent isn't paying attention, that's a free like 25%, or a kill if they're above 80. Toon Link's is basically Young Link's except it's only one hitbox. It does slightly more knockback, and I've noted that it hits really low, so it can actually be used for two-framing people sometimes. Ikes and King DDDs cover a large area around them, however, they're not even nearly as strong as I'd expect. Really underwhelming when you actually hit the move. Same thing for Clouds, except it doesn't cover the area behind him. It's decently fast and has good range, but it's also pretty weak. On to A tier, I'm starting with Bowser. He has invincibility on his shell, which when using his up smash is pretty much his entire body. So you literally cannot challenge this move when trying to land on him. You just have to get out of the way. It also has a hitbox when he comes back down, so you have to wait until he's actually landed again to punish him. Greninja's is pretty weak when you try to hit grounded opponents with it, however it's very strong if you can get someone above you. Unlike a lot of other up smashes that are most effective when the opponent is directly above you, he has a lot of ways to set up into it, like up tilt, up throw, down tilt. It's really strong too. Mario's, Luigi's, and Dr. Mario's are pretty much the same, except Dr. Mario's does a lot more damage, and despite having like the worst knockback angle ever, it still kills just as early as the other two. Wario's is stronger and has more range, however it's slower than the previous three I mentioned. Pikachu's is fast and strong, simple as that. Gets the job done quickly and also hits very low like Toon Link's. Rosalina's also has a crazy amount of invincibility. It's decently strong and covers a good area, and that is pretty much all you need to work with this move. Yoshi's is another flip kick up smash. It's slightly slower and weaker than Fox's, but still very good because he has good movement to go with it. Ridley's is also relatively fast and strong. Basically does the same thing as Ike's and DDD's, but comes out twice as fast. Sometimes it won't hit smaller characters directly in front of him, but if you do a reverse up smash, it should be able to fill that space in. Link's has an insane amount of range. It's pretty fast and just he swings this big sword all around him. Yeah, it's punishable if he misses, but it's not a difficult move to land. Captain Falcon's is pretty strong and it has a very low amount of end lag, so it's pretty safe even if you whiff the move. And even if you miss the second hit after landing the first one, you can hit them with the back air instead, which does almost the same amount of damage. Zero Suit's up smash is a combo starter, which means it's useful at both low and high percents. It's also very fast but understandably weak, and it covers a large area above her. Finally, in S tier, we're gonna start with Fox. I've been mentioning him throughout this video because he just has the perfect flip kick up smash. It's strong, he has plenty of setups into it, and it goes well with his fast ground movement. Just pretty much everything you could ask for. Inkling's is insanely fast and strong as well. It's also a great out of shield option like Fox's. Little Mac, I mean, we kind of saw this coming, but it has super armor, does a nasty amount of damage and knockback, covers a big area, and it's not too easy to punish either. Mr. Game & Watch might be an unexpected choice to some people, but the invincibility he has is actually ridiculous. It's actually pretty difficult to get around someone who's literally just spamming this move, because it's so safe and so hard to hit him while he's doing it. Palutena's is just range. Look at that range. That's pretty much all you need to see, but it also 2 frames. Olimar's is also extremely safe, even on shield, and it combos into itself or up airs or whatever you want to do with it. Like a smash attack should not combo into itself. Like, that's just kind of broken. Rob's also covers a huge area above him, and he has plenty of setups into it, like gyro at the ledge, or down throw, up tilt. Just overall an extremely useful move that's also very quick and powerful. Snake's up smash is really important in his ledge trapping game. There's a lot you can do with this move in general. Ness has an S tier up smash because you can hang in at the ledge and pretty much just edge guard someone for free. It's very difficult to get around if you don't have like a tether grab or something. It also has good knockback even though it doesn't do as much damage. Lucas's has a ton of invincibility and has a gigantic hitbox that covers all around him and even inside him. It also hits very low so you can scoop people off the ledge with it. Just an insane move overall, despite being pretty slow. Wolf's is pretty insane because of its horizontal range. He can scoop people up from pretty much anywhere around him. Like, they don't have to be right next to him. They can be standing like a few feet away, and it'll just scoop him up. That, in addition to being pretty quick and strong, is how he makes it in this tier. Ganondorf's is what Ike's and King Dedede's should have been. Same amount of lag, but it does a lot more damage. Like, seriously, 8% more. And if you read someone jumping from the ledge with this thing, they're pretty much gone. I almost put Mewtwo's in A tiers. I decided it was really good and kind of deserved a spot. It's strong, it covers all around him, it doesn't have much lag, goes great with his movement, and just does the job, you know? Thank you all for watching. Be sure to join my Discord server and follow me on social media if you want to keep up with me and my audience. I'll catch you all in my next video. See ya.